War is an algorithm. We will show its price. A $500 drone destroys a $5 million tank. The equation is simple. The consequences are not. In September 2020, Azerbaijan deployed Turkish-made Bayraktar TB2 drones against Armenian forces in Nagorno-Karabakh. Cost per unit, approximately $5 million. Each drone destroyed multiple targets worth tens of millions. Armenian air defense systems, $15 million S-300 batteries, were eliminated by drones costing less than a luxury car. The war lasted 44 days. Armenia lost. The kill ratio was unprecedented in modern warfare. This is not about technology. This is about a fundamental shift in conflict economics. Traditional military procurement operates on escalation logic. Billion-dollar fighter jets, $200 million missile defense systems, aircraft carriers costing $13 billion before they ever leave port. The assumption, technological superiority, justifies exponential cost increase. For decades, this worked. No longer. Ukraine's experience reveals the new calculation. According to open-source intelligence aggregators, Ukrainian forces using commercial DJI quadcopters modified with grenades, total cost under $2,000, have destroyed Russian vehicles worth $500,000 to $3 million each. The return on investment exceeds 15,000%. No weapon system in history has approached this asymmetry. The numbers compound. A single Switchblade 300 drone costs $6,000. It can eliminate an artillery piece worth $1.5 million. But the real cost is not the destroyed asset, it's the response. Russia now allocates billions to counter-drone systems, electronic warfare installations, air defense repositioning, training programs, administrative overhead. Every $6,000 threat generates millions in defensive expenditure. This is cost-forcing warfare. The attacker sets the price. The defender pays it. The British Royal United Services Institute calculated in 2023 that for every dollar spent on offensive drone capabilities in Ukraine, defending forces must spend $30 to $50 on countermeasures. This ratio is unsustainable. Yet there is no alternative. Ignoring the threat means guaranteed losses. Addressing it means budget hemorrhage. Consider the cascade effect. One confirmed drone strike force's doctrinal change. Armored formations disperse. Supply routes multiply. Command centers relocate. Each adaptation increases operational costs by 15–25%, according to RAND Corporation analysis of Ukraine battlefield data. These are not battlefield losses. These are permanent structural cost increases. The United States spent $200 billion developing the F-35 fighter program. Unit cost per aircraft, $80–100 million depending on variant. Meanwhile, Iranian-designed Shahed 136 loitering munitions, essentially one-way attack drones, cost approximately $20,000 to $50,000 each. Russia purchased thousands. They target electrical infrastructure, not aircraft. But they force Ukraine to expend million-dollar air defense missiles to intercept them. The math is deliberate. Exhaust the expensive system with cheap threats. They said, air superiority determines modern warfare. They got $50,000 drones forcing billion-dollar air defense recalculation. The Israeli experience in Gaza demonstrates the endgame. Hamas and Islamic Jihad operate drones assembled from commercially available components. Total cost, $2,000 to $15,000 depending on sophistication. Israel responds with Iron Dome interceptors at $40,000 to $50,000 per missile, according to Israeli Defense Ministry figures. During the 2021 conflict, Israel fired over 1,500 interceptors. Cost, $60–75 million minimum, for threats costing perhaps $5 to $10 million total to produce. This is not victory. This is not defeat. This is maintenance. Permanent expenditure to maintain status quo against infinitely replenishable threats. The economic trap is structural. Drones democratize precision strike. A militant group in Yemen with $100,000 budget can threaten Red Sea shipping worth billions. The Houthis proved this in 2023-2024. According to Lloyd's of London insurance data, shipping costs increased 300% on certain routes. Naval deployment to protect vessels, $2 billion in the first 6 months alone, per U.S. Defense Department budget disclosures. The drones cost less than one missile fired in response. Now scale globally. The Stockholm International Peace Research Institute projects global counter-drone system spending will reach $12.6 billion annually by 2027, up from $2.1 billion in 2020. This is not discretionary spending. This is forced spending. The threat exists. The response is mandatory. The budget is bottomless. China observes. According to defense industry analysts, Chinese drone production capacity exceeds 10,000 military units annually. Cost per unit continues declining. Some models under $100,000 for capabilities that would have required $10 million platforms a decade ago. If conflict occurs in the Taiwan Strait, the U.S. Navy faces a scenario where $2 billion destroyers must defend against 1,000 drone swarms costing $100 million total. The economic exchange ratio is 20.1 before the first shot. The personnel costs multiply the equation. Training a fighter pilot, $10 million over career, per U.S. Air Force data. Training a drone operator, $50,000 maximum. Loss of a pilot, irreplaceable human capital plus aircraft replacement. Loss of a drone, order another. The casualty economics favor the drone entirely. They said, advanced militaries maintain decisive advantage through technological investment. They got technological advantage becoming economic liability when countered by disposable systems. The development cycle accelerates the asymmetry. Developing a new fighter jet, 15 to 20 years. Developing a new drone variant, 18 to 24 months. By the time a traditional weapon system reaches deployment, drone technology has evolved through 3 generations. The F-35 program began in 1992. It achieved full combat capability in 2015. In that time frame, drone warfare went from experimental to dominant. Supply chain vulnerabilities compound. A single F-35 requires components from over 1,000 suppliers across 9 countries. A commercial drone requires components available on Alibaba. Sanctions can disrupt the first. Nothing disrupts the second. According to UN reports, sanctioned states, including Iran and North Korea, maintain robust drone programs using entirely commercial supply chains. The economic resilience is absolute. The data reveals the trajectory. In 2010, global military drone expenditure, $6 billion. In 2024, $18 billion. Projected 2030, $30 billion, but counter-drone spending grows faster. $2 billion in 2020, projected $25 billion by 2030. The defensive costs are outpacing offensive costs. This has never happened in military history. Usually, offense is expensive, defense is cheaper. Drones invert this completely. Consider the opportunity cost. Every dollar spent on counter-drone systems is a dollar not spent on education, infrastructure, healthcare. Azerbaijan's 44-day war cost an estimated $4.5 billion in total expenditure. But Armenia now allocates 30% more to defense annually than pre-war levels, $800 million versus $600 million. according to Stockholm International Peace Research Institute data. This is permanent budget reallocation. The war ended. The costs did not. The Russian mobilization illustrates the endpoint. Facing Ukrainian drone superiority, Russia diverted resources to domestic drone production and electronic warfare. According to estimates by the Royal United Services Institute, Russia now produces approximately 1,500 military drones monthly. Cost, roughly $1.5 to $2 billion annually. This is spending that did not exist in 2021. It cannot be stopped in 2025. The production capacity, once built, must be utilized or represents wasted investment. So the drones will be deployed. And deployment requires justification. And justification requires conflict. The economic logic creates strategic lock-in. Investment in drone warfare infrastructure becomes sunk cost. Sunk costs drive continued utilization. Continued utilization drives strategic commitments. Strategic commitments drive conflicts that might otherwise be avoided. The weapon system dictates the strategy, not the reverse. They said, precision weapons reduce overall conflict costs by limiting destruction. They got precision weapons at disposable prices, making low-intensity conflict economically sustainable indefinitely. The final calculation is generational. The United States spent $2 trillion in Afghanistan over 20 years, $100 billion annually. The Taliban defeated this with weapons costing perhaps $500 million annually, including drones in the final years. The economic efficiency of the insurgent was 201. This ratio is now available to any actor with $100,000 and an internet connection. Drone warfare does not end wars faster. It makes them cheaper to sustain, and anything cheaper to sustain lasts longer. The $500 drone destroying the $5 million tank is not a revolution in efficiency. It is a revolution in conflict prolongation. The price of entry dropped. The cost of exit did not. This is the algorithm. Low-cost precision enables indefinite conflict. Indefinite conflict forces permanent defensive spending. Permanent defensive spending crowds out economic development. Economic development loss reduces capacity to end conflict. The loop closes. The system is self-sustaining. We did not calculate the true cost. It is not the tank destroyed. It is not the drone purchased. It is the permanent militarization of budgets to counter threats that cost nothing to produce and everything to defend against. It is the decades of infrastructure not built, education not funded, healthcare not provided, because the money went to shooting down $500 threats with $50,000 solutions. The drone does not win the war. The economics do. And the economics favor endless war.